Attention everybody, the views and opinions expressed on the show are not necessarily those of Axe Ministry, Axe Media Group, and or their affiliate and subordinate ministries and or nonprofits. All right, here we go. Woo-hoo. Good morning! Coming to you live from Axe Media Group headquarters. Here in beautiful Springfield, Missouri, it's The Morning Drive with Matt and Jay with your hosts, Matt and Jay, and Dennis Everson.
What?
Ooh, boy, that was loud.
Whoa, that got loud.
Yeah, it did.
I'm here.
I'm pretty sure that distorted it.
Yeah. Better.
The music is coming from this computer. I need to download it onto this so you can just play it through this too, instead of this.
Or vice versa.
Yeah. I can actually cut a clip of it and just have that as a tile down here. All right. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Morning Drive with Matt and Jay. My name is Matt.
My name is Jay.
My name is not Matt or Jay.
What is it?
It's Dennis.
Hey,
All right.
Dennis.
Yeah.
We're glad to have everybody on board with us today. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Amen.
You know how that goes.
Oh, yeah.
So mute that. So today's title, This World Has Gone Batty.
Baddie.
I should have picked a different title because everybody knows this world's gone batty.
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah,
baddie.
so much. You got the protesters, and then there's also the rioters. I don't put them in the same category
I don't either.
No.
because there's the protesters, which I fully agree with what they're protesting about.
Yep.
The rioters, I don't agree with that. I don't think violence is the way to solve this.
No. Vengeance is not the way to solve it.
Then there's the looters that I consider part of rioters, but all of it, it's not a good place that we're in. I mean, at least people aren't really thinking about COVID-19 anymore.
Well, yeah, where'd that go?
Yeah.
Is that all gone?
No, it's still there.
Is it
I mean,
still
I
there?
could really talk about this. I got, and I could probably do it without hardly even breathing, because it is upsetting.
Yeah.
And I think I think why so many people are coming together right now is because of the truth of my own experience, and I think it's a common experience for many people. I've
And that's
seen
sad.
racism, and I've seen it affect hard-working black men who just want a job to do a good job and to have a job to support themselves and their family, who need insurance for their families. I mean, if we look at the black community and what they say about them health-wise, they have more underlying health risks than the average person. But then at the same time, because of racism, and I've seen it, I was there.
Mm-hmm.
I stood up against it, and I suffered for it. But they suffered way more than I ever did.
Yeah.
I mean, think about not being able to get and keep a good job that provides for your family, not only financially, but also with the health care, insurance, and all that stuff. You can't
Wow.
even get a job with that. So, but I see that, and now I think I've always been one to speak up and stand up about it. Not always, though. And I think,
Right.
so I think that may be part of what contributes to some of the problems also. I mean, as a community of people who love one another and don't see race as something that's a way of judging a person, that's meaningless when it comes to judging a person and judging a person's character. It has no meaning or even in there.
Right.
But I think something about the shame people feel for knowing and being aware of and being around when the racist speech is used. And usually it's behind the back of black people, but then seeing that actually have an effect in the world, in the lives of innocent people, like black people who can't get jobs. Many of us in the world today have seen that and are ashamed of not having stood up against it. Weren't willing to take the sacrifice and make the sacrifice, because the sacrifice is big. Mm-hmm. You're a white person among a bunch of white people talking racist, and then see people who are black not getting jobs or not being able to keep a job or get a full-time job, and you don't say something about it. That's a shame. I think that's part of what contributes to the identity problem too.
Right.
When people say one of the first questions the police ask you when there was a crime, they say, "Well, were they white, black, Asian, Hispanic?" That's a question, right? Because that starts an identity, a picture of a person that could be,
Right.
Seen. Well, I think some of the shame that we feel is what keeps us from looking a person in the eye and in the face and knowing that we're all different. I don't look like my sister or my brother. I have some similarities with my brother, but we're all different. We all look
Hi, Stacy.
different.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Joe.
And if we look each other in the face
Steve
and
Schultz.
look each other in the eye, race doesn't make a difference in who you're looking for.
Right.
It's, I grew up in Wisconsin, and it's all along the lake. It's all European, a lot of German background, different things. But when I grew up, I did grow up racist against the Polish people. I didn't even know it.
Yeah.
We'd have these jokes like, how do you get a one-armed Polak out of a tree? You wave at them. And it was all like making Polacks dumb. And I didn't even know what a Polak was. It was just
Now,
like, as a kid, it was a joke, but it was the Polish people. And
Now, is the word Polak now?
It's derogatory.
I'm sure it's a racist term.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be like using an N-word.
Well, we've got
you know.
we've got Polish people in our family as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know what it was, but I was raised with those things, For some reason, it was just like a term that didn't think anything of a kid because I'd hear all these jokes and stuff, but it was all against Polish people. And turning them into something they weren't, dehumanizing them is what some of those words do.
I think that God allows these terrible things to happen for a reason. And I think we should be very careful about politicizing it.
Right.
We see that happen so quickly and so easily, and that's how politicians get to choose the narrative. When we want something else done, and we don't like their ideas, and their ideas make no difference to us, then they push it and push it and push it, and we all end up on board with something that is far from what the problems really are
Right.
and what we need done.
It's like, what's the root of the problem?
Yeah, the division that's going on, and then there has to be a way where no matter what point of view we have, we can admit there's a problem and work together on a solution. And unfortunately, it doesn't happen. It just everybody gets divided, and this one wants this one wants that, and some of the answers are really not good answers at all. But if you don't agree with them, then you're wrong, and it's crazy how
And if you don't agree with somebody,
intelligence, common sense,
they shut down
Yeah.
immediately. You're no longer even.
yell over you. Hey, what are you?
They won't even.
I
they won't
don't
even listen to you.
I don't know that that's quite right. I think that I've been a victim of Fox News and the narratives that they push. And I've been a victim of CNN and the narratives that they push. And they detract from our own ability to intelligently think and discuss a topic and a problem.
Right.
Like that whole, what were you just saying? I can't remember the words that you used, but those are
Can I help?
actually
Good morning.
verbatim.
Mm-hmm.
Those are verbatim lines that Fox News pushed and pushed and pushed. And they are divisive.
Oh, very.
So that's what I mean by politicizing. We need to be very careful about the words we use and understand that those are those things that they push are very carefully constructed, psychologically geared statements that are designed to so we need this broad thought to see the truth in all that's involved in this complicated issue. Well, those are all designed to narrow us down and to the tip of the funnel. Where it's narrowed down to this one thing that benefits somebody who really already benefits more than anybody else.
Right.
And it's not right. But that's the narrative they push, and that's why, is because there's somebody paying for it who wants a dividend on their payment.
I saw.
I think the news and media we should ignore.
Absolutely.
Oh man.
The people in front of us we should not.
Yeah.
The best difference we can make is when we hear racist speech to let people know I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
And yes, somebody can say all the statistics that say black people shoot more black people, police don't, and all this stuff. And you can be drawn into that so quickly, right?
Oh yeah.
But look, that the reason why that's moot is because you can say, yeah, more black people, more murders are committed by black people.
Doesn't
you
mean
know
there's
what?
not a problem.
But here's the thing: when you say more murders are committed by black people, I have probably 20 regular customers who are black.
Mm-hmm.
When you say black people, they are black people, and
Right.
you're talking about them.
Yeah.
And what you just said is a lie.
Right.
It's false. When you say black people kill more people, I'm sorry, that's a lie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Oh, absolutely.
And
Right.
and it's not a lie by using something, saying something that's not true. It's using something that's true and saying it in order to deceive people.
Yeah.
Right.
You can use the truth to deceive people,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that is a lie.
Yeah. You just twist it, turn it. You know,
Because a
that's the
lie
whole
means
spin-
to intend to
The
deceive.
devil does.
Yeah.
So I am extremely offended when somebody says more black people kill people than anybody, or these statistics. When they say black people, I see the faces of black people that I know who are people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been to a home of a
I don't
black
even think
person
about the color of
where
the skin.
it was a barbecue and his whole family was there. What I saw was a family.
Oh yeah. And then you know what? The barbecues like that. When I went to when I lived in Florida, there was this older black gentleman that kind of took me under his wing, and he had barbecues every weekend. And I went there, and they treated me like I was part of the family.
Yeah.
You know, I don't see skin color anymore, ever.
I think
I mean-
I see that. You know what I mean?
It does make
you
me
can't-
sad that other people, like my grandpa, he was brought up in a different day and age. He's passed away now, but he was a man in management during the time of what do they call that? Affirmative action.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, where they had to have so many different minorities working for them. You know, and I remember he was very racist, and you know I don't like hearing people, and I don't care what race you are. I don't like to hear any kind of derogatory. You can't put a whole entire race.
It's a horrible thing to say.
It is, you know, and it's just because you know of a black person that committed a crime, that doesn't mean that all black people are like that. And just because some white people that are racist doesn't mean we're all racist. We're not.
I think it also,
We need to stop generalizing people.
yeah, well, we
Absolutely.
also need to start being brave and standing up when we hear false things like that and
Absolutely.
saying it
Absolutely.
and saying how we feel about it, because I think that's the start. When one person finds the courage to say, you know, I don't like that kind of talk, and here's why. When I hear people referring to people by race, and I gotta admit, usually it's black, is the
yeah.
one that receives the negative
The most.
terms. And you can go into statistics about all these other races, but it is the black race that's getting the short end of the stick.
Yeah, I think there's some places in America where it might be Spanish or something like that, but there's
There are,
going
yeah.
to be closer to the border, and so it's an issue there. And
But
Yeah.
when we
But yeah,
hear people
in
talking
America,
like
yeah,
that,
a
we've
lot of
got to
times
say, you know what?
Stop.
When you say black people, I know black people, and you're saying them, and they're not murderers, thieves, and criminals at all. What they are is family men who work and support their families and are good and kind and righteous as they can be people, despite the experience of their life that would make them something else.
Right. And you had mentioned something. We were
The
talking.
character it takes to come through that with dignity and to be a good and loving and kind person, despite that experience in your
Right.
life,
Yep.
is a testimony of character that should be exemplified.
Now, you had mentioned something. It was last week. I don't know if it was on air or not. And, you know, I never really thought about that. But you were talking about, imagine, okay, so we have to have the sex talk with our children, right? But being a black person and raising your kids, you have to sit them down and have that talk. Look, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah, how about
People-
this? Son, when you're listening to the radio and you hear a black person committed a crime, get ready to pull over.
Yeah.
When you get stopped by the police, this is how you should behave.
Yeah.
Yeah. And expect to be pulled over for no reason. And that's really sad to me. Because
Right.
people do profile.
Yeah, and then
And it's
of
wrong.
course that also gets into the other side of it too. Is then when you're saying, well, cops are doing this and cops are doing that. No,
Now
It's
they're
the
just,
same thing.
same
Yeah.
thing. You know?
because not all cops are bad.
Right.
I serve cops the same thing. I
Yeah.
serve cops all day long.
And the Native
Policemen,
American
and
people,
I prefer to
they had
say
a real rough
policemen.
go of it
Yeah.
too.
Who, and imagine the character it takes for your job is to be called to the scene where you're dealing with criminals.
Yep.
Always.
Yep. And you never know.
Your perspective can be slanted pretty quick.
Absolutely.
What I mean, you can have a perspective of society that says, you know what, people are criminals.
Yeah. Yeah. At a certain point, how do you not think, man, everybody's breaking some law? You know, everybody's.
But
up to
here's the
something.
thing too: policemen probably because the majority of people in this city, in our city, I'm going to use our city as an example. The majority of people that police deal with who are in a criminal element are white. It's
Yeah,
likely
absolutely.
That's
Oh,
the
sure.
truth.
Absolutely.
Without a
But-
doubt.
I think policemen experience it the same way because of anyone who's my age is likely to have experienced and seen racism at work and know the injustice of it and didn't stand up and say something. That shame, even with police who deal with black people all the time, is what prevents them from looking black people in the face, in the eye, and seeing that they are not a black person and that they don't look like that black person. They are a human being who is different in in their face. They could be identified by what they look like without saying a black person.
Right, right.
And we need to, first of all, have the courage to stand up so that you don't have the shame that prevents you from looking people in the eye and seeing who they are.
Yeah.
You know?
So yeah, stand up. And I think this is our challenge to you guys. If you witness something like that and somebody, even if it's behind their back and stuff,
Yeah.
you need to stand up and say, that's not right. I don't appreciate that.
Yep.
That's wrong. A person is a person. God doesn't see the color of our skin.
I'm sure he does. He created black
Well,
people
yeah,
and white people
yeah.
because he saw it as beautiful and different.
Yeah.
But I look at you and I don't see me.
No.
I look at you and I don't see me. And if somebody asked me for a description, I would say a white guy.
Right. Yeah. And it's sad that they don't.
I'd say he's about this tall. He has glasses.
Old.
Today
if
he's
old
wearing a
comes
camo
out,
shirt.
you know, I don't know.
What's that?
Old.
Right.
Well, people are probably wondering how your forearms and head are just floating there right now. But because he's wearing
I
camo.
do think shame is what keeps us from seeing each other
Or fear of retribution.
and having to reduce a description of somebody to the base description. It's because of shame prevents us from seeing each other and looking each other in the eye. Shame of not having said, you know what, I don't like that kind of talk and I think it's wrong.
And the way the news just kind of pushes stuff, you know,
Yeah.
like you're talking about, man, all the twists and turns with, you can't even, I got to when this whole COVID and everything came out, I got to where I just stopped even listening or watching
Yeah,
any news because
stopped-
I was like,
me too.
I was like, they're not telling me the truth. They're twisting this, they're turning that. One week it's this, next week it's that. I'd try to find out information. It'd take like 3 days to get the information from 3 days ago. And I was just like, I just gave up on it. So I haven't even been paying attention to most of the news.
Yeah.
I saw a it looked almost like a Gary Larson cartoon. It was a single square comic, and it was a 2-panel, and it was a man sitting in front of his TV, and on the top panel it was the news, and it said, and the topic was how to stop living in fear, and then the bottom panel he clicked the TV off and looked at the turn it off.
Yeah.
Turn it off.
You know, don't believe
Yep.
anything you see on Facebook, on YouTube. You know, just on not YouTube, but Facebook and the news. Any of the news now, it's really sad. Back in the day, news would report what happened, and you'd have to decide
Right.
how you feel about that. Now
They tell you.
they
what to
tell
think.
you they tell you what happened and how you should feel about it,
And what you
you
should
have
do,
to decide if it
and
even really happened.
what you should say. And
Yeah.
So
I say,
controlling
look
everything.
at the world in front of you, the people in front of you,
yeah,
and love them all
Yes.
because God chiseled them from a rock, from a pit. Every chip. Imagine Michelangelo carelessly chiseling that marble into what he created. He couldn't have. Every chip he took out of those stones
Was
was
strategic.
carefully done and thought out and done with purpose and meaning, carefully not to break it and ruin the work that he did. Every human being that you see was carefully made by God that same way and loved and cherished and wanted.
Yep.
yeah, that's the justice system is bad. I mean, it's definitely very flawed. You know why? Because it's not the same justice system that they had in the Old Testament.
Hey, Teo.
Well,
Is Teo watching?
Yeah, he's on my watch.
People
party. I don't
went
think he
before
shows
the
up on yours.
court speaking their own language the way and about the circumstances the way they understood them in their own language with the vocabulary that they had to express and to present their case. Now the courts have come to this point where you have to know their language, which is so complex and so specific and detailed. A judge is there to take a layperson off the street who doesn't understand all that language and interpret that into legal language, to ask the questions of that witness, of that victim or that perpetrator, the questions that he needs to ask to understand that person's situation by the language they use.
Yeah.
A judge should be an interpreter who brings a person who doesn't know the language of the court, listens to them, and interprets into the language of the court, and then accurately judges. But the court has gone into a place where you can't even speak in the court
Right.
without knowing the language. And you can't present your own case without knowing the language.
Yep. They made it very complicated.
Yeah, I got griped out of a courtroom.
Yeah. You can't even present your case.
No, and I mean that judge chewed me out, because I tried to represent myself, and he said, and I hadn't. Well, what it is I didn't know that you had to subpoena or what do they call that? Serve the Missouri State Department of Revenue or Motor Vehicles, you know. And then also, I didn't know about the background check you had to do, you know, the driving record for the last such and such years. But he wouldn't tell me that. He just said, well, and he was really huffy-puffy about it. He's like, well, I can't do anything because they haven't been served. He said, so you showed up here basically accusing me of wasting his time and said, you need to get a lawyer. I said, well, what else do I need? He says, you need a lawyer.
Yeah.
And so that means
they can't tell you. They won't tell you.
That excludes people without money from justice, and
Yeah.
that's not right.
No.
I mean,
No.
I understand the courts. It's the same thing with the police.
Justice
all day
and
long,
righteousness are a foundation of God's throne. It's so important to Him.
all day long, a judge sees conflict.
And the
Yep.
only way you can get a public defender is if you have a felony. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
I knew that. Well, I didn't know that either until I was sitting in the courtroom waiting for my time, and a guy came up with the misdemeanor, and it was a very serious one. And he said, "Your Honor, I don't have the funding to get a lawyer. Could I get one appointed?" And he said, "Well, the only way I could do that is if it's a felony." He said, "I could upgrade this to a felony if you'd like."
Thanks.
So, and that's not right.
It's not. And here's the thing too. Like, here's an example. I have a $2,500 debt right now that is being garnished from my wages. There is a set amount that I can take home, and anything above it they take. This is people. This garnishment being taken from my check is a garnishment from an organization or a company that when I came upon bad circumstances that I was partially responsible for and lost my job and couldn't pay, tried to negotiate with them. They illegally rejected my negotiations, said I will not accept that. And I was offering them all that I had outside of what it takes for me to feed myself and keep a roof over my head. And they rejected it and then took me to court and are now garnishing my wages. How am I supposed to fight that?
No.
You know what I mean? How am I supposed to say, and they're not even, and they wasted the court's time because they knew that they could gain an advantage there.
Yeah. Yeah,
But they
justice
illegally
system's
rejected
definitely
my
messed up.
attempts to negotiate and to pay that debt. They said, we will not accept your money. That's not enough.
You know, and legally, your debt should have became void.
But they knew I could
No.
not present that in a court adequately.
Yeah, it's a shame when it's the people with the money get what they want through the courts, and it's not according to justice what's right.
And you know, we could sit here and talk about injustices all day because there's so many of
Oh.
them.
I don't blame the judges either because, look, I think there's a problem with those kinds of system, including the police. Okay, so there are certain jobs where people's job is to go out, to go to work and face the problems of the world. So a judge all day long hears basically arguments and problems. That's
Right.
a stressful thing. And that gives you a different worldview than what the average public person sees.
Sure.
The police go out and deal with the bad elements of society day
yeah.
in and day out. That's their job. And that gives them a distorted worldview.
Well, they never know if someone's going to pull a gun on them or
The good
stab 'em
ones,
or, you know.
when they have to go to the store when they're on duty and all that, they engage with the public so that they can maintain
you know,
an accurate worldview, so that they can see that the general public are not criminals. They engage with us, you know what I mean? And then there are some who, for some reason, have been so overwhelmed by the responsibilities that they have and the very nature of their job that they come in resentful of everybody.
Yeah.
You can see the difference. There's something that has to be done about the relief that these people are provided, that there's almost like a tag team, you know what I mean? Wrestling, when there's tag team, when somebody's overwhelmed and not able to succeed and adequately do that job because their worldview has become so distorted that they're not able to do it rightly and
Yeah.
and justly, they should be switched out with somebody.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't lose their pay because they're vital.
They got to
justice.
deal with burnout. I mean,
They've got to,
kind
and
of, kind of job they have.
it should be expected. There should be a regular rotation
Absolutely.
where psychology is applied to understand how much of that a person can take before their worldview
correct.
becomes distorted.
Yeah, it's tough.
Real quick, it's about halfway through the hour, and I wanted to let everybody, hey, you know, the telethon is over now,
Yep.
but we still need help.
Yes.
If you like what we're talking about, do you like this show and what we do, there's a couple things we need you to do.
We need you to do it.
Yeah, we need you to do this. Like these videos and share them, and then share them specifically with someone that you might think that would be would benefit by watching this show.
Yeah.
And it's I mean it's real important. We want to get more viewers. We want to continue to get help and partner with you guys. You go to axmediagroup.com, see everything that we've done so far, everything we are doing, and see the past videos from the last months and months. So you can actually see what the money goes for. It goes into operational costs and things like that. But go to axmediagroup.com. Scroll down, you'll see the donate PayPal button on the right. Click on that. Go in there. Put how much you want to donate, even if it's $1. Even if it's $1, every little bit helps. And just
We want to provide a network that runs around the clock where people can go to find clean material
Yep.
to watch and see different perspectives from different people who
Yep.
do different things in this world that we live in, and to be diverse in that. We want to provide that for you. And listen, it does take money, right?
It does.
And I'm not
Yep.
saying, look, we have a consistent number of people who watch. We have a fairly consistent amount of people who contribute financially to what we do. We're not asking you to contribute more money. there's a thing that we need that's important. We need to grow our viewership.
And
With the consistent amount of support we get right now from 15,000 viewers a month, in order to support what we're already doing right now, we need 150,000 a month. To gain the support from our viewers, we need 150,000 people a month to view. For people to give naturally and normally the way they do and will and want to, without our having to beg and plead and get you to make a massive sacrifice that you're really not capable of making, we need to multiply our viewership.
absolutely.
So what you can do is, if you think that the content you've seen today or on any show that you've seen, like it, share it, and name the person you want to share it with. Somebody that you know who would benefit or like the content of the show, share it with them by name. That is the most important thing and vital thing that you could do for us as a network to help us grow. Because if we gained 150,000 people who that would just support what we're already doing, we would use that to multiply what we do.
Yeah, if we want to add shows to it, we want to add to our hours of operation, and we want to continue to add shows that will benefit you, not just for entertainment value, but also educational.
Yep. Yeah, we got a lot of stuff we're working on, but having some funds to do it really helps too.
Now, Steve McAllister's not here today. Steve
No.
O. Mickey Mac's not here.
He's been cut.
He has been cut, and that's all we're going to say about that particular part. But he's doing better. He's doing okay. And he's been texting me. He said he's been having an issue with his watch party today. His comments seem to be disappearing. So I don't know what we're going to do as far as I just forgot what I was saying.
The next hour.
Oh, yeah, for the next hour. I don't know what we're going to do because I really don't have any shows queued up.
Wow,
to be able
Jay,
to...
I think that's not right. I don't know who is that.
Oh, that's Stacy. She was talking about what you were saying. She's commenting like in real time.
What is not right? I'm not sure.
I
mean, because I want to address it. I want to, and
Right.
I want a new perspective.
No. She wasn't saying that's not right. She's saying you were talking about the injustice that you had seen somebody else go through, and she said, "Wow, Jay, that's not right."
In other
She's
words,
not
she's
saying
agreeing
you were
with you.
wrong.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. So,
was-
but now, I'm not. I owe the debt, and they're garnishing my wages.
And
they're
now,
getting the money.
but see, now you're paying the original amount that you were just going to pay them anyway.
It's actually the amount that I tried to negotiate for.
Yeah. So they didn't even have to go to court. They could have just got that.
Well, because my company's fighting for me because they have the money and they have lawyers retained to fight for their employees.
Oh, wow.
And my company that I work for said, no, you're not taking that. This is what you get. And they knew they couldn't stand in court and say anything when I mean, they would have had to forgive the debt if they tried to say, no, that's not enough.
Right.
We won't accept it. You know what I mean? So now I have a lawyer fighting for me at a company that really cares for their employees.
Well, that's
and
good.
and if I hadn't been at this place, who knows what would happen?
Yeah.
Hi, Barney.
You know? And that's a great company to work for.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a shame to see where just the whole justice system's gone in our country, and when the whole country, you can do what's right is wrong and what's wrong is right, and people can get more in trouble for something they say that's not the right thing to say than what they do, and
My
people
problem
can do
is
wrong
civil.
things and it's right. And, oh man, it's a mess.
Isn't that civil court that I'm talking about with the debt?
Yeah.
Imagine being in criminal court
Right.
under those circumstances where
Oh,
you
yeah.
can't defend yourself, you can't speak to defend yourself because you don't know the language and it's
Right.
required of you to know it. You can't afford a lawyer who will adequately represent you because you can't afford to pay him. He's appointed and really has to move on as fast as he can, so he can't really represent you to the best of his ability.
And there can be some real cultural things there, especially
Yeah.
some of these issues they're talking about with the black community or something. Someone that
Well,
goes
and
up in the inner
because-
city, he's going to speak different than what the judge talks. Like he's
Right.
and
And the judge also is now, his worldview is distorted because he never gets a break.
right.
And all he sees is
All he sees is
All
criminals.
he sees is the
Yeah.
drugs. The criminals. Yeah, I mean,
I think there should be a tag team type thing, and I think with the judge who's on rotation out of the court shouldn't be.
No, Steve, he's not going to be on the show.
He shouldn't be. I don't think if he's getting paid that he should be, say, on leave, but that he should be required to do something else that involves him with the general population that restores his worldview of the hardworking society that he serves
Right.
and what they need and expect from him. You know what I mean? And psychology has to play a part in that, so that somebody would know the right place to put the judge, where the judge could actually restore his worldview from just seeing the world around him as criminal. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And that has to be done carefully.
Yeah.
Look, God made us all carefully, and we should honor him and respect his creation and his
Intricate
love
detail.
for it by doing as well as we can do to be righteous and just. I mean, and I'm not saying I'm righteous and just, because I am far, far, far from it.
Right.
But these things that are coming up, we look at these riots and everything, and I don't see it as bad. I see it as something that's come to a head, because there's still a problem that needs to be addressed. And though I do not think people should be breaking into stores and burning buildings down and all that stuff, I think God's allowing it because he is seeing, you see what I mean, like the judge? Well, he's the judge.
Yep.
His worldview is becoming distorted, right? Not distorted, but it's accurate, because God is not flawed. And he's saying, look, you've adjusted to the changes that have been made, and it is better, but there needs to be more. We can't be complacent and sit on our laurels. We can't be lukewarm. I will spit you out if you're lukewarm. We can't say now that because we don't hear openly racist talk anymore, that it's okay now.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely still problems.
Yeah.
A lot of problems, especially when it comes to the criminal justice system, all of that.
Yeah.
With the police and with the courts, and it's a mess. And it isn't balanced. It is lopsided.
And the media and the politics deciding what is important to us and saying what, and when they're replaced because we don't like what they're doing, they're the ones who decide who the next candidate is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For the
doubt.
primaries, to decide who's going to run to replace that person, those candidates are appointed by the person you're trying to get rid of.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's a problem with that system.
Yeah. I think that the parties, you shouldn't vote by party. I think
The parties shouldn't be able to present us
No.
with the next candidate. We
Right.
should present them with the next candidate.
right.
Yep.
So yeah, that's a whole other bag of worms right there.
We don't even know how to do that.
no.
No.
We don't even know how we could say, hey, you know what? I know this guy and I think he'd be good at it.
No.
We don't even know how to get that person in the race.
No, they have a write-in where you can write in the thought.
It's,
Right, but how do you...
It's a small group of people that control it all. It doesn't matter what side you're on or whatever. There's a small group of people that control it all, and they're not.
I
the best
prefer
people
my
in the
name
world.
signed on a piece of paper with the holes punched out than to have something digital.
Right.
I prefer it because, you know what I mean? When you're counting those cards, if I suspect something's wrong, I can go and find my card with my signature and say, this is one.
Yeah. Absolutely. Morning, Becky Code. So yeah, this is we're talking about current events today. The world has gone batty, and it's going to take an extremely large movement of a movement of love, and also we should start a speak up movement. If you hear somebody talking trash on certain races just because of they're that race, speak up.
Restore your conscience by speaking up so
Speak
that
up.
you can look the people of the race that is in question in the face
Or,
You know what I mean?
or any group.
without shame.
Even if it's like the police.
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
If it's a group because of the
Speak
color of their
up.
skin, because of their job.
Hashtag speak up.
Judges.
Yeah. Hashtag speak up. Exactly.
So is that a thing yet? We
Should
could
be.
We need
Probably.
to start that movement. Hashtag speak up.
Yes.
I wonder if I could put that on here.
Yeah.
See if it'll start
Better,
trending.
better check and see. They might be have a speak up for something else. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's Speak Out.
I am hurt for the people that I see who are just, and it's basically all the people that I see working hard in this world, you know, and doing what they should, and
It's no wonder there's a lot of anger out there.
and how the people that I see anyway, the black people that I see and serve in my job, how they do what they do with dignity, knowing what I know and having actually seen what I've seen, how they do it with such grace and dignity, and how they're not burning it down. I don't know, but I'm grateful for them. And I want them to know that they make a difference. They make a big difference.
That is actually obviously it's trending, and it's about racial difference, racial speaking stuff. I'm struggling to
Thank you, Stacy.
Makes sense.
Like and share these videos, and don't just like and share them. But if you find the content of this video would be helpful or useful to somebody, or you think it's just something that they would like, it's up their alley, name them when you share it. Tag them. Because what we need to get the support we need is not more from you. What we need is 10 times the viewers that we have. And 10 times the viewers that we have right now, at the same rate of support we're getting, would support us.
Yeah.
Fully support us. And with that full support, for that just would adequately pay for what we do now, we would expand this. And you would have a network that you can come to at any time for fresh, live content. You know what I mean? That is what we need. We need you to share this with somebody specific.
And the shows are a good way. You can use them as conversation starters.
Yes.
You know, hey, watch this. What do you think about it? And, you know,
Or
have a
to challenge
conversation
us
with
and
someone.
have somebody come on our show and bring a new perspective, something we're
Absolutely.
missing.
Absolutely.
I deleted that comment with the hashtag Speak Up because I want to make sure that content is appropriate for this network
Right.
before I actually put it up.
Yeah.
So I'm going to actually look at that.
Yeah, you definitely never know what's
Right,
trending
right,
out there.
right. Yeah, so I mean, it appears to be legit, but I want to double check and make sure. I want to go through, see what their posts are about.
And it bothers me that certain things get hijacked too.
Oh,
Be
yeah.
like,
You know what I mean?
hashtag say something.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's so many different possibilities for
Yeah,
hashtags
you
out
never
there.
know.
You never know. So you get
It's all about police dogs and how they shouldn't be going to the airport.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. right.
what is
yeah.
that?
You know, I see that. Yeah.
No. So, I mean, we're going to have a whole hour between shows next because, reruns don't really hit. out there.
Nah.
So, Steve O'Mickey Mac McAllister, I don't know if he will be back next week or not. He has had surgery. He had surgery last Tuesday, and he said he might be out for a couple of weeks. So, be praying for him, a speedy recovery for him, and also pray for his wife, and also, pray for the families of those people. Pray for those who die in police custody and who are treated differently. We need to pray for our
Refuse-
nation, just all around together.
Refuse to watch those rioting videos. I know what it was doing to me, and it was contrary to what I know to be true.
Yeah, it
I
gives you
saw
anxiety,
a lot of,
anger.
I saw a lot, and what they were showing, what's coming up on my thing is a lot of black people rioting, breaking into stores, burning stuff down. And listen, turn that off.
Yeah.
Because you know what I see every day at work is I see a massive black community who are going to work every day supporting their good families who love each other and sit down together, who are just like you, who are diverse within themselves. One's angry, one is obsessive, one is the calm person trying to keep everybody grounded in foundation and managing well. And you know what I mean? They're normal people. I've sat down in their homes with them. You know what I mean? And I've served them at work. Why don't you? And they honor us by not being drawn into this garbage and still, despite it, going to work every day, supporting their families, sitting down with their families, expressing their anger and their frustrations with the one, saying, look, we've got to calm ourselves down here and continue to do what we know is right, and that is to come out here every day despite how people see us and despite how people don't see us.
Yeah.
They don't even look at us and know who I am and what my name is.
And just know that a lot of those people that are rioting, that incite the riots, are not even from the area that the protests start in.
Yeah.
They're being bussed in. They're being paid to go in there and cause havoc.
Yeah. I'd say honor our black community because they do honor us.
Yeah.
And if you don't see that, you're looking in the wrong place. Turn that garbage off.
Yes. I don't watch any videos of that kind of stuff anymore because, I'm finally getting over my anxiety issues and all that stuff. Because what it is you see this, and it does. It seems like they're trying to program your brain to make you, when you look at one black person, you see all the other black people
Races
on
and
there.
riots.
Right.
And,
Because they profit off of that.
that is a lie.
Yeah,
They
absolutely.
are using actual true events to lie.
Yep.
You can look at it and say,
Good,
no,
Steve.
it's right. It happened. Look, the black people are looting and burning stuff down. Yeah, that's true. Those ones are. But we have a massive, in Springfield, a massive black community that are working every day, supporting their families, going home and living life as a family, leaders of the families, children growing up in those families who are maintaining their composure and excluding themselves from it to just live a family life and be part of a community that doesn't even know who they are
Yep.
and thinks they're something they're not.
Right.
And
Oh,
how
yeah.
they do it, I don't know, but that's an incredible testimony of what character should be.
Absolutely.
And we need to honor them by turning that garbage
Off. Click hashtag shut it off.
Yep.
End hashtag. Sorry. That just takes me back to the old days when we did that hashtag.
I feel like I'm repeating myself now. Maybe we should do something.
Well, I tell you what, folks, just know, regardless of your creed, your race, your age, whatever, we love you no matter what. Because you know why? Jesus loves us. Not because of our skin color, but because we're made in God's image.
Yes.
And he died for us. He didn't even know me he knew me at the time.
He knew you. Yeah.
He knows me now. He knows you now. So if you find yourself having an issue with somebody, just think about when you look at somebody and you make that initial judgment. Pay attention, because you may not even realize you're doing it. If you look, like, let's say you see a black person walking down the street, and then immediately you think something negative. Stop yourself. Say, hey, I shouldn't do that. Say it out loud if you have to. If you hear somebody talking bad about somebody because of their race, or dropping the N-bomb or doing whatever, any kind of racist talk whatsoever, speak up about it. Tell them, stop doing that. I don't want to hear that.
If people want to talk about what's going on in all these riots and everything like that, I would say cut that conversation short and say, look, where I'm standing right now, I'm not seeing any looters. I'm not seeing any riots. You know what I mean? I'm not seeing any police that are killing anybody. Right now, where I'm standing right now, what I see is this. And describe what the world around you really is like.
Yeah, that's good. Teo was saying, speaking up is good, but he's saying, use your own words, not somebody else's.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't get caught with all that everybody's saying.
Verbatim
Pay attention,
quoting.
yeah.
Yeah.
What's
Because those are
happening? What are you
psychologically
seeing?
constructed things to
Yeah.
bring people to a certain place that's not good.
Right.
Stop and think about it yourself. Stop and think about,
And then stop yourself.
yeah.
Really, I mean, think about it. People have eyes, nose, ears, mouth, heart, brain, arms, legs, toes. Some of them don't have as many toes or as many fingers if they've been amputated or whatever. But what color is our blood?
Look them in the eye and talk to them. What color is
Red
their life?
or purple?
Yeah.
Yeah. What color is their heart? What color is their spirit?
Yeah. Who are they?
Yeah.
What's their name?
Yeah.
What
You
you're
don't
going
know
to
what
find
they're
out
going
is
through.
their fathers, mothers, uncles, aunts, grandfathers,
And
grandmothers,
As white
sons,
people,
daughters.
as white people, we don't understand what it's like to be profiled because of the color of our skin
No.
at all.
Well, we're beginning to,
Yeah.
and we don't like it.
No. So, I mean, but just know that if you're out there, you're watching this show, you can continue to comment. You can shoot us messages on our personal Facebooks or what have you. There will be no show after this one, but come back at 10 o'clock and you'll have the Sacred Ways with
The
Troy
people
and
that do
Belinda
it.
Johansson. Sorry, my brain just left me.
Share our content specifically with somebody you know who you think would benefit from it, enjoy it, or agree with it, or might be able to contribute a perspective that we're missing. Please share it with somebody specific. In order for us to get the support we need to multiply our viewer base by 10 times.
Yep.
Steve said he would be back next week for sure.
Yeah, we love you, Steve. What a
We
great
miss
guy.
you.
And I'm working on our friend Teo from Africa, working on videoing him sharing some of what he's seeing from his perspective over there in Africa, and after he lived in the United States for about 10 years. And he was saying that he likes what we're saying because we're just speaking honestly and not repeating a bunch of codes and sayings and
Yeah.
and stuff of all these movements, but honesty, what's going on in our lives.
Reprogram
and hearts.
yourself.
Yeah.
Reprogram yourself.
Think.
If you've been raised to hate a certain race or to immediately judge them because of their skin color,
Get out
stop.
of the job you're in. Go get a job where you serve the community. Look those people in the eye.
Meet
Learn
them.
their names and talk to them, and your perspective will change. I promise.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, we can actually. Let's see here. I don't like to leave a gap in this. Jim sending me a message because it does hurt our ratings.
What?
Because if there's
Think about doing a show for the show missing, I imagine.
yeah, I mean we can come back on and do another hour.
Yeah.
So that way, but what
I think we've repeated a lot, though. Let's choose a new topic.
yeah,
There you
let's
go.
choose a new
Something else.
topic.
Yep.
That's a good idea.
I love you all so
Yeah,
much, and
very much.
I am so thankful for the job that I have because I would not have the perspective that I do without it. And I see so many people, and it so hurts me to hear when they say what I'm seeing. The people that I know that I serve are not what people are saying. And when
Right.
you say black people, you're talking about the people that I know and serve, and this is not who they are, and it's not right. You got to stop it. You got to not. It can't be said that way anymore. It's wrong.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it's time for us to get out of here, folks. Just for now, give us a few minutes and we'll come back on and we'll pick a different topic.
Yep.
But this was definitely a topic that needed to be addressed because we can't, as a media group, we can't stand idle, and just pretend like it's not happening because it is happening. Maybe not predominantly in front of us here specifically, but it does. We are being watched all over the world, and we do need
Oh,
to.
yeah.
Our stance on it is racism in any form, profiling in any form is bad. Love people, regardless. That's
Yeah.
what Jesus did. He died for every person, every race.
Maybe there's something we have missed that we should address to those who are out there looting and rioting. Listen, you're being used.
Our stance on it is racism in any form.
You're being
profiling in
used.
any form. You are.
Yep.
The media that you're watching and listening to, and the ideas that
You're
are
not helping.
no, you're not. If the things that you're saying you're finding are verbatim something you heard from somebody else, you need to stop and think about what you're saying. Stop swearing. Don't use foul language. Find a way to actually say what it is that you're trying that your experience is.
Right.
Because we need to hear what your actual experience
That
is.
two wrongs don't make a right.
Yeah.
Can't fight violence with violence.
Well, you're being used.
Yeah.
You're
That
a
old
human
saying.
being. You're a person, and you have a family just like everybody else. And whoever it is that you're being provoked by and being motivated to do those things by is using you.
So they'll saying if you're not a part of the solution, you're part of the problem.
Yeah, well, yeah, and if you're standing up for truth and what's right, you don't have to hide behind a mask.
No.
Or
Turn it
or a
off.
crowd.
Look
Man,
somewhere else.
Get right out there in front.
Well, I'd like to thank everybody for joining us on the Morning Drive Part 1 this
Sorry.
morning. No, that's all right. We will be back on here in about 5 minutes, 10 minutes tops, and we'll hit you with another hour of we don't know what just yet. We're filling in for Steve Mickey Mack, who's recovering from surgery. So, don't touch that dial, folks. Until then, my friends, God bless you and keep you. We love you. My name is Matt,
My name is Jay.
My name is Dennis.
and this has been
The
The
Morning
Morning Drive.